But that was my next question. We have a lot of our offices downtown. We're surrounded by all the biggest condos in the city that are down there. A lot of our investors have purchased, a couple of years ago, even pre-construction, and starting to close now. And people are starting to think, well, my mortgage rate has gone up so much. Should I still hold on to that condo, for the future, or should I sell now, or should I even invest in more condos because I know all these immigrants are going to be coming in and getting jobs in the city, right? Because most of the high-tech, high-paying jobs will be probably likely close to the city core. So is it a good time for people to maybe purchase a pre-construction when there's more incentives now, or buy a resale condo when there's more opportunities now?
Okay, Toronto population has projections about in the 2041 they will double the populations in Toronto. The most density area, the dense area that they're going to develop is on King West, and in other area is on the area closer to the distillery area, around the Eastern area. There's a huge development coming up in there. So those are the area they forecast that there will be more population coming in. That's why they're going to build more condo. And actually in the projection, they're researching that they need a lot more condo than what they expected right there. And so that's why you can see that Toronto trying to make use whatever land resources that they have, because if you go to the eastern area, a lot of the land is open area. They don't really have, not as the King West, the builder has to buy like several condo or one condo building to build one. But on the eastern area, they can have a community development right there. So the things is gonna change the landscaping of Toronto. I always mention, if you talk about core Toronto area, people thought about that, okay, Yonge and Bloor, maybe along Bay Street. But I can tell you, the big city, for example, if you're coming from the Asian, a little bit more about, for example, Tokyo, they have more than one downtown. Everywhere is downtown. So Toronto is still underdeveloped in versus those international cities. It's on the way up. So you see all the transformation, and this is also the opportunities. I can tell you that I talked to several of my investors talking about buying something in downtown. I say, you're buying something along the subway line, you won't go wrong. Right? Because once you build one condo right there, then no one can take it away from you. You got the prime location right there. And anything around the further away from the let's say subway, the more competition you're gonna have, right? Because circle gonna be kind of bigger, right? So in downtown, I think still quite attractive to some of the investor, because it's you don't need to buy parking. You don't need a parking spot. And the millennium sometimes is not just work. I know that I have a client, they work in the Yonge and Eglinton, but they like to live in downtown. Downtown has a different attraction right there. And not to mention, we didn't mention about the student. There's a lot of students coming in Toronto. Look at the expansion program of UT in particular, the TMU, the Toronto Metropolitan University, they're expanding like crazy. So if you're buying downtown, that doesn't matter about the economy, whether it go up or go down, you still have students coming in.
That's right.
So the vacancy rate will be very minimum. Right, the chances is very minimum. And also that I know that if you have kids that they want to come to Toronto or come down Toronto to study, rent a place in summertime like crazy. Multiple offer.
No, like I said, now every time we say we put up a listing for lease in the downtown area, like our calls are non-stop and we're getting multiple offers. Right. Almost on the first day.
So that's why that when you buy investment property, you think about what kind of tenant that you're gonna attract. Are they stable? Are they a quote-unquote troublemaker? Right. So buying in downtown is kind of very easy to convince the people to think about that. Okay, for example, if you have kids, will they be studying in downtown? So you're buying a condo now, you're collecting rent. Eventually, your kids may be using that unit for their own. You don't have to pay high rent. Right. So in downtown, they have a very attractive way, like to attract investors to go to downtown. You, for example, if you buy a condo next to the Google office on King Street,
then you're set.
You won't go wrong with that.
Exactly.
You won't go wrong with that, right? So downtown has a lot of attraction that attract the investors. So that's why downtown is always like an indicator about the condo price. I always look at the Yonge and Bloor, how much they're selling. If they're selling 2,000 square feet, then outskirt area will be less expensive. But if you told me that, wait, Chris, I don't have a lot of money to invest in $2,000 per square feet. What should I do? It doesn't matter. Get the first step, maybe a little bit outskirt, maybe even a little bit outskirt. Get your first step into that investment first, because eventually the inner circle of young and broad, let's say for example, maybe like 5% of Toronto people can afford. Like you're buying a house near the Central Park in New York, Manhattan. But not a lot in New York can afford to buy something like overlook Central Park.
Well, I think you're right, because downtown now, like how you mentioned Tokyo, it's different parts of downtown.
Right.
I think Toronto's similar too. There's Yonge and Bloor downtown, which I call downtown.
Right.
Because I live in the north
Exactly.
side. But if you talk to some of our younger agents, they call King Street West downtown.
Well, yeah, that's okay.
So that's their downtown.
Right.
So everyone has like a different pocket that they want to buy, right? Because we have clients that say, I don't want to live in Yonge and Bloor. I'd rather live in King West or Queen West, right? So there's different areas, and I think each one has their own characteristics for different person on that side, right? So I think it's always going to be a good investment, like you said, because there's so many students coming in,
Right.
so many immigrants, so many tech jobs that are down there as well,
Right.
And the rents are going up exponentially up there too.
Yeah, so that's why I think that if you're talking about investment, I think Toronto is still a good place to invest. For example, that the economy situation that we're facing is not just Toronto; it's a global. Like everywhere, they have a increasing their interest rate. In overall, almost all the major city in the world, because they all suffer from the pandemic situation, the supply chain issue that they have, the war issue that they have. So it's not just a Toronto issue. So it is a whole world issue that the real estate market is changing. So we've been enjoying that for a long time. So it's a time for adjustment. So for me, it's a short-term adjustment. But look in the bigger pictures that we have, the supply and demand that we have. How are you going to deal with that? I don't know, because I don't think the Canada will stop the immigration policy.
No, that's right. Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So I mean, the Ontario government has this legislation going in where they want to build 1.5 million homes a year in Ontario, right?
Yeah.
Like in your opinion, how realistic is that to kind of balance out the market with the supply, right? So
that's really a challenge that we have, because with the people coming into Toronto, the houses to build every year that we build, we're not going to meet the future demand or the current demand, because we have limitation on the labor. A limitation on the machinery. So we're not going to get it done, and the government